Hello, all you amazing empathic people, healers, and highly sensitive people. Today's topic is about spiritual parasites and how they might affect you and the people around you and even your home. And is a lot of questions. Some people believe in them, some people don't. Some people think that they're all bad and they can harm you, and the truth is quite different. So stay tuned to hear more. This is Anastasia. I used to be a physics professor specializing in vibrational and quantum physics. After recovering from a serious illness using energy healing on myself, the calling to heal became so strong that I had to quit my 40-year research career. I replaced my 6-figure professor salary within 5 months using a simple but not easy 3-step system that I worked out to grow my healing practice. Now I help other healers grow their practices, whether they're just starting or already have a practice, with this same 3-step system. I'm all about helping you too. Listen in to learn more. Thank you so much for coming back. So as I mentioned, today's topic is spiritual parasites, or spiritual beings or entities that are in the quantum realm. So these things have more variety as there are species on the planet, from insects all the way up to gigantic things like whales and elephants, and as intelligent as humans, and they all have a part in our being here. So what you may or may not realize is that everything that is operating here in the physical world has a component in the spiritual world. But it goes beyond that. There are things in the quantum field or the spiritual world that are beyond what we know and understand. For example, the beings that we call archangels are huge relative to anything on this planet. At least that's what I understand. They're telling me, yes, they communicate with us, but there's no equivalent of them in the physical realm here. So what do I mean by spiritual parasite? So usually a spiritual parasite is something that is weaker than you. It cannot incarnate into a physical being, and it will try to experience life and sap your energy on the physical world by attaching to you somehow. Some of them are even little imps. They will get into your electronics, they'll invade your home, they will attack the weak, the old, and the very young, and they can create havoc in your life. So there are different kinds of spiritual parasites, as I said, and what today's topic is all about is how powerful you are and how you have the power over them and not vice versa. So there's good spirits and evil spirits. So the good spirits are on the other side, there to help you out. That includes your ancestors, it includes your spiritual guides, the archangels, God, all these helpful spirits on the other side that are there to promote you. It could be for healers, their spirit guides could be scientists and healers, Hippocrates, Florence Nightingale, all of these famous people that are there that are famous healers, Louis Pasteur, all of these people that have now collected this vast amount of knowledge, and they're there to help guide you, to help you find the knowledge that you need to improve. Just notice my microphone a little low. So then, evil spirits are those that take something that don't belong to them. right? They steal your energy, they make you feel weak and tired. You can become sick if you're old and weak and your energy envelope or aura, it has holes in it. They can invade and they can influence you. Some of them will pop into people's heads and it sounds like they have voices in their head and they're, sitting there blah, 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 telling you things and you don't know whether to believe them or not. So there's that kind. And the and the evil spirits, they pull your light out of you. And I've seen this happen. I was here, like I didn't believe in them until I actually experienced them. My mom was just beginning her downward spiral into dementia in the last months of her life. And one came in to try and attach to her. And there are some of us that can see them. I don't see them, I feel them. Like they have a different feel than the good spirits. And my daughter walks in and says, "Mom, there's an ugly spirit that's looking at you." And I turned around and I said, "You're going to have to go." And it slammed into me and I could feel it. And it got upset at my daughter for pointing her out to me. And so the thing is that you have to recognize that if you have incarnated, that means that you are very powerful. You are Superman or Superwoman on the spiritual plane. So when that happened to me, I turned around and said to it, "You're going to have to go," right? And that meant that I had power over it. And as soon as it slammed into me, I started a process that removed their evil energy and allowed that entity to float away as neutral energy to start over again, because the evil collects this over time and it has decided to be greedy and want other people's energy. So there are different processes for neutralizing or repelling those spirits, and I'm just going to tell you a couple of simple ones, right? So one simple one for neutralizing these parasites, and the reason why you want to is that you want your life to not be all about fighting those spirits. The more you focus on them, the more they'll bother you. And one good way to repel them is to use something called the Focus Life Force Energy. There is a product called Focus Life Force Energy. I have it on my house. It provides a high frequency environment on the entire property. I have 7,500 square feet on this property, and it is radiating out this very high frequency energy onto the home. And what that does is it repels the neediness. It repels the low frequency beings that are trying to grab more energy. And I know it works because when I turn it off and then on, I completely feel the difference. It's really, really obvious. Another way to repel these soul-sucking, energy-sucking parasites is to tell them to go. You just simply tell them, you're going to have to go, right? You just tell them because you are Superman or Superwoman on the spiritual plane. One way to deal with that is to call on whatever your higher power is. So you have God, Jesus, Buddha, Krishna, any one of your religions, Mohammed. You have these very high vibrating spiritual beings that are on the other side. And when you call for help, they are there to help you. So when I had a high level spiritual entity trying to tempt me and bother me, I called on God and Jesus to take them away because I was halfway asleep, and I was frozen in place and couldn't move. And as soon as I called out their names and had their image in my mind, it vanished immediately. There are other spiritual beings that come looking for help. They look like to me that they're covered in sores, and I will heal them and allow them to go about their business. I can see them sometimes, right? So the thing is that you are super powerful, and when you tell them they don't belong here and you call on another spiritual entity, that they can leave. Another method for doing this is a process that the Berkeley Psychic Institute has promoted, and it's called throwing roses. And the reason why roses are so powerful is that they vibrate at a very high frequency. Rose oil has the highest frequency of any known biologic, at least the highest measured of any known biochemical, biologic material. And this high frequency absorbs evilness, which is low frequency. It absorbs it, and then you throw it down into the earth to let the earth soak it in and transform and transmute it, because the earth is exceedingly powerful, right? So what I do is I throw a rose at the evilness and watch the evil get absorbed by it, and then drop the rose into the ground. You can also use pictures of roses, images of roses, or energy images of roses in the corners of your house to protect you. And the way you imagine it, each house has 8 corners, right? 2 top, 2 bottom, behind you, 2 top, 2 bottom, that's 8. And you put a rose in each of those corners, and then you put a rose in the middle connected to the 8. Drop a grounding cord and just have the intention to remove that low frequency energy in your home, right? So there's lots of ways. Any way that you raise the frequency of your home will help you combat and keep away the spiritual parasites from you. And the last thing that I want to mention is that you will find a lot of spiritual parasites in places like hotels, motels, meeting rooms, conference rooms, places of business. And especially when a lot of people come through, they have this parasites on them, the parasites drop off. One of my friends told me that you don't dare go into a bar because whenever you drink alcohol, it weakens your field and the parasite can jump into you. And she says, why do you think they call alcohol spirits? That's not why, but I thought it was a really cute connection to alcohol, and why alcohol, like, I just simply don't consume it because of the way it leaves my field holy and vulnerable. So, and I also stopped inviting a lot of people into my home unless they get cleared out before they come in, because they will leave the parasites that they carry behind, right? Because a lot of people will carry parasites on them. They're feeling a headache or some arm pain or a back pain. It could be a parasite causing that. They come into your home, you're a healer, you have a high frequency home, they drop off and they leave their parasites behind. It's the same with a lot of businesses. If you've ever tried to print out something last minute to go on a trip, and you try printing and the printer always fails. That always happened to me when I was preparing talks for coming to America when I lived in Germany, and I needed to get my talk prepared because it cost so much to print it somewhere else. So I tried to print it at my desk at work, and the group printer always failed the night before, so I made sure that I had plenty of time to print it up. But if I had last minute slides, it wouldn't print. I would either have to hand draw them or go to a Kinko's, which was active back then, go to a Kinko's and have the slide printed out at a 10 times higher cost. So that was before we used electronic talks, of course. So in summary, there are good spirits and bad spirits. They all exist in the quantum field. There are many, many, many forms of spirits on the other side. The spirit is an intelligent energy that carries whatever. A lot of the spirits are needy. These are the parasites. They will draw your own energy down and make you feel poorly or even believe poorly, and they can even talk to you in your head so you think you've got voices, right? And there are several ways to help them release out of you by calling on a high frequency spirit like God, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, one of your whatever belief system you have, and ask them to help you release you from them. You can find there's lots of YouTube videos on this particular topic. You can also tell them to go because you know that you are Superman or Superwoman on the spiritual plane. Remember, it takes a lot of energy to incarnate, right? You have command of 50 trillion cells in your body, and each cell has 9 trillion reactions in it every day. That's a lot of energy to take command of and to control. And so you are an extremely powerful being, and you can repel whatever it is you want. The belief is really important. And so last is to keep yourself, right? The last is to keep yourself in good, right? Do your spiritual hygiene, right? Cut your cords, clear up your energy field, make sure your physical body is well taken care of, rest, good nutrition, and lots of water and exercise, right? And all of these things will help keep you in great shape to repel all of those spiritual parasites. Thank you so much. I hope this was helpful for you, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you so much for taking valuable time out of your day to listen in. If you found this message helpful, please help spread the word by giving the broadcast a thumbs up or a 5-star rating. Share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe to my channel with your notifications on. For further training on healing and growing your healing business using my 3-step system, go to www.highpaidhealers.com. And I'll see you in the next video.